In 2014, we actually were working on this startup called Yellow app. We had been working on that for over a year. And त्यो बेलामा स्टार्टअपको भूत यस्तो मजा चल्यो थियो कि I literally used to eat, sleep and shit startup. It was 15th of December 2014. We had recently shifted our office in Putali Sadak. It was a mess, so we had to do a lot of shifting and moving things. I go to work at around 10, fix the tables and everything and all. Everybody in the team came by 10:15. So in the morning, what we basically do is we actually follow this ritual called stand-up, where we would stand in circle and then we plan about our day, the things that we would generally do. So everybody had their part of their work. I had mine too, so I went to my laptop and started working. It was around 11:14ish. I received an email that said congratulations as a subject. I really would not actually consider clicking on those emails because last time I remember I got an email with that subject was from an African woman who wanted to, what she said was her husband has died and she wanted to transfer $1 million to someone outside her country. For a moment, I really wanted to help her. And I really thought it was true. And after Googling for an hour or so, I realized it was a scam. And I was very sorry for myself. So I really didn't want to click on that email, but then I did. I clicked on the notification, the inbox popped up. I skimmed through the email in like 4 seconds and I froze for a moment. So I got back to my senses and immediately called my co-founder. I think she almost broke her phone while she heard the news and jumping. And I brought my team together. We read the email again, and suddenly a feeling of accomplishment actually got into us. It was actually a big news for us. The email was from Google, the Google where you search everything. The email was about it was about congratulating on us on being one of the top 3 winners for International Google Startup Stories contest. I still cannot see you. For 400 plus applicants started from all over the world, 50 to be exact, being one of the top 3 winner in the world was amazing. It was crazy. Imagine it being Leonardo DiCaprio holding Oscar. See, that moment was a lit for us, for a startup guy who had been actually working for a couple of years in Nepal, despite of all the problems and everything and all. It was more like a sunshine into our team. I suddenly could feel hundreds of butterflies in my stomach. I could plan 20 years ahead what this award could mean to us as a company and a startup. And see, I could literally visualize investors, shitloads of money, and bigger place, bigger team. I don't know. It was just amazing. What actually award gave us also a small hint of popularity. We were in news, we were in medias. We did not ask for it, but then why not, right? That moment also was a time when I realized I need to tell my parents that I actually quit my stable job for a year and a half and started on this without making any penny. So did my co-founder. She did not actually tell her parents too. So that was a perfect time. What we actually did then was we were working on this startup called Yellow App, which was a restaurant search discovery platform for over 4,000 restaurants in major cities of Nepal. We were doing pretty well, but this award actually gave us this topping on our project so that people knew us. We actually got a lot of users. It was easy for us to pitch to the restaurants and all. So it was amazing time for us. But what we did not realize was this award also gave us a baggage. We had lots of responsibilities in our shoulder that would actually pull us backward in some moment of our life. 5 months later, it's May of 2015. I got an opportunity to be in San Francisco. See, for a tech guy, being in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, the mecca or say the heaven of startups, it was again the next big opportunity for me. Imagine Leonardo DiCaprio holding two Oscars. So I was there for 2 weeks. I actually got an opportunity to meet a lot of Nepali fellow working in startup over there. I got to meet a lot of other foreign people who actually were there trying their luck in startup. I got to pitch to a lot of investors. Literally, I was living a Silicon Valley life for 2 weeks, and it was way overwhelming for me. To tell you how the startup golf looks like, I met this Syrian guy in this after event party, and he was tall, 6'2", 6'3", white guy, bold body. Uh, he actually worked in Syrian army for 5 years. He started this startup. I forgot the name, but then what the startup does is it's a video summarization platform where if you enter like an hour of video, it would actually summarize the important part in a minute or two. He worked in that startup for 8 months, raised an investment of $20 million, and he boasts me saying, I have planned a breakfast in Facebook tomorrow. I am meeting this Oracle guy in another week. I was like, fuck you guys, seriously? It was a very bad time for us to do startup in Nepal and the guy boasts like it. And actually the Silicon Valley talks are like those. The other day I actually had a meeting with series of investors. I talked to them about the thing I was doing in Nepal. It was a small market, it was a small startup, but then what I really wanted to talk with them was if they were interested in funding in my startup. But the good and a bad part about the people in West or whatever is they can actually be very blunt about what they think. All they had to say was Nepal is a very small market and we would not want to invest in a company in a country like Nepal. And they actually given me like they actually calculated a shitloads of numbers, which means that it does not make sense to do this kind of startup in Nepal. It was not scalable. At first, I was like angry, but then I really wish if someone in Nepal or somebody who had little more experience than me told me that before. I could have pivoted, I could have done something else. But because I already was on that path, there was nothing to go back again. So that actually given me a question to think in my mind. The other day I was thinking and drinking on 13th floor balcony of Hilton Hotel, San Jose, California. It was about 1 in the morning. The sky was lit, as it is always in San Francisco. I could see the cars, I could see some Teslas. Oh, trust me, I loved Tesla when I saw it for the first time. And I could see some people drinking and laughing in a swimming pool. But there was a question actually wrenching my heart. It was actually about a month after an earthquake happened, the embargo happened. For a company, Yellow app, it was doing pretty well despite of everything. Restaurants were being closed. Too bad for us. We were running out of money. We were running out of runway. And we were running out of bandwidth for the project. But then it was a problem that we anticipated in the first hand, and we knew we would solve it anyhow. But what actually was bothering me was with the calculations that we were doing, we had a lot of problems to be passed. First, investors in Nepal would not actually invest in our company because they thought the idea was too ahead of time in Nepal. That was true. We could not actually have waited for another 5 years, and when market was ready, we would actually do an idea. First of all, the market was not ready. We were spending a lot of our time, sweat, and money on educating people on using the app, what the app can do for them to discover nearby restaurants, or educating restaurant owners that this platform can actually help their business be more visible, profitable, and all those stuffs. Even we do invest so much of our time and money in educating people, the critical mass that would follow after would not be enough to be profitable. And the most of it was the idea was not scalable. If I wanted to scale this idea outside Nepal, it was next level of hurdle that I was not ready to undertake. Another thing that was actually dragging me back was the award, because it was one of the kind of award that we got in Nepal in 2014. People were actually expecting a lot of things from us. We were focusing on making the app perfect. We were focusing on making the startup successful. But then, when we ask why we are doing this, where would this startup head in 5 years down the line, we had no clue. And burning all our resources on something that would not scale, we knew, and pumping all our resources does not make sense just because we got an award. I thought maybe I have to do something. I got back home. It was still the mishaps of earthquake. We actually paused our office. We spent most of our time in earthquake rebuilding and all those stuffs. We also started Carpool Kathmandu. It took 3 months or 4 months of our time, but then we were fine with it. When we were back in our office, we actually sat together and planned what should be our next goal. Because pushing on this for longer might actually hurt us, might actually hurt our company. Because what we were good at was building amazing products and selling them. This was a part of our first child, but then we had to do something about it. So see, the thing about the first startup is you treat it as your child. You cannot let it go, and you cannot actually raise it. I don't have a child, but then I don't know how does it feel. But still, it's really hard, right? So what we decided was maybe we should keep it aside, let it flow, but then we should do what we actually do the best. So we took the award thing aside and did what we were actually passionate about. So we built products, we built more products, we experimented without having this thought that people might judge, because we put everything that baggage aside and actually followed our dream. So fast forward to this day, Yellow Nepal as a company has 3 different brands. One looks for Yellow app for with minimum focus. We also have this next brand called Fawesome apps, which you might have guessed it's fucking awesome apps. Because we are crazy and we are passionate about what you do, so we swear a lot. And the next thing we are working on currently is it's an event platform. I can't tell you right now. But within this time, we actually experimented a lot with the apps, in-house apps we built. We have around over 500,000 downloads. So I think the takeaway from here for myself was, in this time, getting success is really easy. And success is only a path of life. If I actually had put that success in my shoulder and did not did what I really wanted to do, If I had put my success on my soldier and had uh, done what people really wanted me to do, I would not actually have crossed the second hurdle that was in my life. And the next lesson I actually learned from my own failures was, even if you are going on a path forward, it does not mean you're at the right direction. So, whatever it is, I always ask, why do I do it? Why do I do the things I do? And I think you should too. Thank you.